Okay, well, this is Gary Thompson. I'm calling to order the meeting of Littleton Invest for tomorrow. So, great. So it is 12 o'clock, and first thing I'll do is a roll call of the members. Bill Hopping, who's sort of, what is the adjunct member, the council liaison, is here. Bill Hopping. I'm Gary Thompson. Kyle Schlachter is here. And on the phone, I believe we have Craig O'Rourke, correct? Craig, you're there?
Present.
Yeah, okay. And Ryan Toole, correct, on the phone? You're there?
Present.
And Jim Collins?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the two members who are not present are Justin Hay and LaDonna Jurgensen, who could not be here. So the next order of business would be review and approval of the minutes from our November 16 meeting. Well, wait, go ahead.
Yeah, and if I could, this is Corey Hoffman. For everyone on the phone, and first of all, we do have a quorum with the combination of those present in person and via telephone. And just so that the record is clear, it is highly unusual to have a meeting where folks participate by telephone, but a meeting is defined under the Colorado Open Meetings Law as any kind of gathering convened to discuss public business in person, by telephone, electronically, or by other means of communication. And thus, under the circumstances where the choice of Lyft was to either have the meeting where some people participate by telephone or not have the meeting at all, this was the determination to have the meeting with some people participating by telephone. Lyft had to react quickly because City Council did not make its final determination about what to do with the various urban renewal plans and the Urban Renewal Authority itself until late December 6th, or actually the morning of December 7th. And thus, it would not have made sense, I think, from the Lyft board's perspective to do a budget until it knew what its role was going to be for the 2017 year. So that's why this meeting is being conducted in the manner it is. And the only request we would make for those folks on the phone is when you do speak, please say your name before speaking, and then that can be better reflected as to who's talking, participating by telephone. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Gary.
Okay, so then our next order of business would be review and approval of the minutes from the November 16 meeting, meaning the video recording. So looking for a motion.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion to approve. A second there.
Ryan Toole, second.
Okay. Ryan, you seconded?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor? So Gary Thompson saying yes. I'm in favor of approval.
Kyle Schlachter, yes.
Okay. On the phone?
Jim Collins, yes. Ryan Toole, yes.
Okay, so that's 5 in favor, none opposed. So the minutes are approved. The next thing on the list of the agenda for today would be announcements. I'm not aware of any. Okay, public appearances. So please, if there's anyone here that would like to speak, please limit it to 4 minutes. So come on up to a speaker, if you would, please.
Projector is not on.
So there is no video. Is there a video record of this meeting? Correct.
Yes. So you're on camera.
And we're happy if you have slides to make them part of the record with the meeting.
A couple of points that I wanted to make, considering that City Council made Lyft survive. I'd like you to raise the bar, as I said before, and I'm going to talk about Columbine Square preparation and the financial unwind for the 3 urban renewal plans. So for Columbine Square preparation, I would like you to discuss how you're going to make the business case for the city as well as for the applicants. And I'm going to say that what I've seen this board do is talk about the forms for the applicant, but I've never seen the board address what constitutes the right business case for the city, and you must do that. So you need to figure out the true cost of urban renewal financing for a project. Urban renewal financing is the financing of last resort. It puts the burden on the city of the long-term funding and gives the upfront money to a developer. And you only do that in the direst circumstances per Colorado law, as well as common sense. So you don't go to payday loans for a swing set, or I'm going to say a music venue, or a farmer's market, which is what we heard the Columbine Square investor group say they could offer us. I don't think that's enough for this kind of encumbrance on the city for 25 years. So Lyft, I want you to bring it. Show us, we, the city, what we get for our investment. Prepare something so you can evaluate that. That's essential. And I want you to provide a comparison of all the funding incentives, urban renewal, tax sharebacks, business districts. Find out, show us which one is best for us.
Pardon me, Jim Collins here. Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
could you have the speaker closer to wherever you are speaking? I at least cannot hear very well.
They can't hear you. Here. I'll let her- Yeah,
Sure, right there. It's the
just they can't hear
the phone right
the
there.
phone, yeah, they can't hear the phone.
Got it. Let me just repeat, you don't go to payday loans for a swing set. We need Lyft to show us the business case for the city.
1 second. Can you hear her now, guys? On the phone?
Yes,
Okay.
much better.
My other point is I'd like you to consider finding a new lawyer. I appreciate your seat, but the plasticity of Mr. Hoffman's comments through the past 2 years, including during the Arapahoe County District Court case, to me, doesn't serve our needs. We need someone with a much sharper pencil and I think a little more adherence to the law. Now I'd like to talk about the financial unwind for the 3 urban renewal plans. Some people see options, and I'd like Lyft to pay city staff to work through the options. They've already started to consider them. I'm going to say some people don't see options. For them, it's quite clear. But the point is, this is a public process. We need to figure out what those options are that some people see. Lyft needs to, and show them to us. And then, just for transparency and openness, even if there's not a choice in the end, figure out what people think is there and show them to us. There are issues. Lyft has expenses, the city administrative costs, the Arapahoe County property tax costs, payments to the attorney, and is payment of the city's loan an expense? Because it financed operating costs, not urban renewal projects. There's also the Lyft loan payback to the city. That's what I'm talking about. There's no debt due to urban renewal. There is a Lyft obligation to return diverted taxes back to the taxing entities. There are the sales taxes held by the city. How are those handled? And there are IGAs, intergovernmental agreements with Littleton Public Schools and South Suburban Parks and Rec. And those need to be included in the settlement. And I'd like somebody to work them all out. Just show us the numbers on paper for the options, 3, 4, 2, however many they are. Work them out by the numbers. It's not that hard. It would take somebody 8, 10 hours to do it. So Lyft, pay the city to work these out and show us all. And I'd like you to develop a formal process that includes informing and then getting a response back from the 5 taxing entities. This was what the Colorado legislature passed If LIFT had been disbanded and we formed a new urban renewal authority, it would have those 5 members present on the board. This would at least get those partners at the table. There's nothing against the law to do this, and in fact, the current law requires it. So do that. Include the 5 taxing entities in your process. Make it part of the steps, make it part of your schedule. Make sure you have time. Just don't come in at the 6th month and say, this is what we have to do now. Get the schedule set up so that you prepare this information, get the 5 taxing partners here, show them what the alternatives are, talk about them, give time for them to assess and respond in public, and then go through a decision process. So thanks for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Okay. The agenda, item 5 on the agenda is financial report from August through November 2016, but we're going to really skip that item on the agenda. Excuse me, which brings us to committee reports. Corey, do you have anything to report?
I do not.
Okay, is there any unfinished business? The item after this will be the budget adoption, but any unfinished business? I'm not aware of any such thing. Anybody on the phone have anything? I mean, just speak up if you have some unfinished business you would like to bring before us. Hearing nothing. Item 8, new business, the 2017 budget adoption.
And before the public hearing is opened, I just point out that the matter was properly noticed in the newspaper for a public hearing that was to have occurred last evening, and it was properly noticed. And then because the LIFT board was unable to have a quorum, the last night's hearing was continued based on the lack of quorum to today at noon. So this matter has been properly noticed for the public hearing today. And so with that, we can proceed on to consideration of the 2017 budget. Okay,
so we are opening a public hearing this time concerning this. We have copy. I don't really know quite what we need to do in the public hearing. That we have this in front of us.
My suggestion would have city staff. My suggestion.
Hey, Gary, this is Ryan.
Yes.
This is Ryan Toole. At the last meeting, I had the opportunity to present the draft budget. So I would like to just point out that this budget, the draft that we now have in front of us for consideration, has been modified in accordance with the City Council's decision to eliminate 3 of the 4 districts. So the revenues and expenses have been appropriately modified, and I'm not sure who made those modifications, but I think it came from city finance staff working through the prior draft budget and eliminating those revenues that would have come from the 3 districts that were eliminated. So what we're looking at is a very reduced budget that contemplates property taxes from Columbine only, and the expenses that include some relatively minor administrative expenses going forward during the wind down period, and the repayment of the outstanding city loan from existing funds. And apparently there will be a small amount of money left, or $79,000 left at the end of the year. That would anticipate perhaps some ongoing work with Columbine, but it is a budget that reflects the reduced stature of left. That's all I have about that.
Okay. Yes, City.
Hi, this is Tiffany Hooten, the Assistant Finance Director of the City of Littleton. And Mike Broughton and I, the Deputy City Manager, worked on adjusting this budget. I do recall that at the last meeting there was a question on the other expenses, the line item that was other. It has been adjusted for 2017, and so I just wanted to let you know what was actually included in that amount. We did some estimates. The current 2017 budget is $2,365. What is included in that is potential newspaper ads for budgets, or if there is a project that comes along on Columbine, there's going to be some required newspaper ads for that. There's also some small printing supplies. The city provides printing, and there could be some other expenses related to that. There's bank charges. I believe it's the anticipation of the board to change banks, and with that, there could be some bank charges related to that, especially charges for checks, things like that. So we did an amount for that as well. If we do get new board members, since I know some terms are coming up, there could be potentially name tags, simple things like that. And then the largest expense of the $2,365 is fill-in videographer in case the city's videographer is not available for the meetings during the year. The total of that comes to $2,365. We did some estimates also on the professional consulting and attorney fees, and I just wanted to note that there is money in the budget, $14,400 in the event that an administrator is contracted for the LIFT board. We did put $14,400 in there for that, and then the $15,000 is related to legal expenses.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Corey, how do we do this? Is comment among board members and then public comment, or
Whatever your
just
preference.
whatever? Well, let's do that. So among board members, I just open it to discussion.
So to me, it looks like the budget is just returning all the funds that have been placed into the special fund to the
Yeah.
tax entities, and no repayment of the city loan here.
The assumptions that were made in this budget is that the property taxes would be returned in whole to the taxing entities, less the fees that were required to pay the county to collect that. The remaining amount is going to be used for current expenditures for LIFT, and also there is an anticipated repayment in full of the loan to the city of Littleton out of the sales tax increment monies.
Okay, a public comment on the budget. Is there any?
Gary, this is Ryan. I would like to note that in the event that Columbine or the developer of Columbine is interested in proceeding to develop an urban renewal plan, and from a preliminary perspective, we find that it has merit, we will seek a retainer agreement with Columbine Square that would result in additional revenues, and there would be additional expenses, but that means we would just have to modify the budget at that time. So this budget does not contemplate a significant expenditure for Columbine Square because we don't know what it would be.
Yeah, what, if anything? And we can amend the budget at a later time. We know that. Okay, so public comment. State your name, please.
Yeah, I should have said before, I'm Pam Chadbourne, I live in District 1. If Carol Brezak was here, I'm sure she would say that Colorado state law requires the repayment of debt first before any other expenditure is made. I'm not sure I agree with her, but she can't be here, and I am, and so I'll say that on her behalf. Also, I'm glad that Jim Reese is gone. I don't think he served us well, and so I hope for whoever you select as an administrator, they have more of a hands-on specifics knowledge of urban renewal administration, because for this unwinding, as I mentioned in my general comments, there are some considerations. They really all need to be collected and looked at and assessed compared to the law, because there's no unwinding in the Colorado state law. So all of the provisions kind of have to be assessed to see if they nuance what we do. So those two things. Does debt have to be repaid first? Is the loan between the city and Lyft really debt? Or is it a obligation between two members of a group that is not debt? I don't know. And I'm not sure whether it's good one way or another. I don't have a dog in the fight. Well, I do as a citizen, but the group needs to assess this. There is pros and cons. There are pros and cons monetarily for all of the entities. So I think, again, the numbers ought to be worked for all options so that all entities can see the impact on themselves. And there needs to be a legal assessment of what is required. So that's my request about what comes up for this budget. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment? So Corey, do we close the public hearing before we, okay, so close the public hearing. So I, at this point, close the public hearing and 12:22. And now I think seek a motion from someone on the board as to what to do.
And you do have a resolution to adopt the 2017 budget. And so the motion would be, if you choose to adopt the budget, it would be to approve the resolution adopting the 2017 budget.
So a motion
Jim
to...
Collins. This is Jim Collins. While I will move to adopt the budget, I would also appreciate at the next meeting of the Lyft board to have the answers on the nature of the debt, if it is debt. But for the time being, I move that we adopt the budget that is before us.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
I'll second.
Okay, that was Kyle Schlachter seconding the motion. And any discussion of the motion? So we should just kind of do a roll call vote here on this.
I would just like to reiterate Jim and Pam's concerns about the debt. I do think that we need to take a close look at that and make sure the city's loan is paid off in full prior to the other.
Okay. Any other discussion? So I'll just kind of do roll call. Kyle, since you're here, you.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Craig.
Aye.
Ryan.
In favor.
Okay. Jim.
Aye.
And then this is Gary. I'm also in favor. So that is 5-0. The resolution is adopted. And then moving on, is there any other business from the members or Tiffany? Anything else that you have?
I just wanted to note that there's going to be a study session with City Council on January 10th to go over the options and strategy for the repayment order for Lyft. Just wanted to note that.
A study session by the council?
Yes.
Right, okay. Okay. Any other business to come before this august body? Hearing none, move to adjourn.
Second?
Do we need to get a vote for that, or we're just adjourned?
You're adjourned.
We're adjourned.
The chair can adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
Agenda's over.
Thank you guys on the phone.